OWC Eats, the web series where we find out more about where our food comes from. Welcome to the show. Today we're at Naapi's garden on the beautiful Kainai Nation.
We're here today to meet Api Soomaahka. He's going to tell us about Naapi's garden project to restore the grassland and the traditional Blackfoot diet from the Kainai Nation.
Okay, Api Soomaahka. Hello, all my relatives. I greet all of you, and I'm running Coyote, and you're here at Naapi's garden. So a lot of the work that comprises Naapi's garden revolves around a lot of land restoration, reclamation. Also involves a lot of our food security, and working towards having sort of sustainable practices and growing a lot of these traditional plants. And this is one of the focuses of our work here at Naapi's garden, and also with partnerships like Oldman Watershed.
So tell us a bit about what you're doing to restore the land and the Blackfoot diet.
And it's all about decolonizing your diet. Well, I had knowledge of the land, all of these different plants like I had when I was a young kid. And that came from my parents, my grandparents. My mom would cook a lot with some of these plants. You can't survive like on a traditional diet. You have to create a balance so you can eat Western food and traditional foods. Like it can be done. One of the things is learning about these different plants, how to propagate them. And this is the work that I've been doing for the past number of years, and it's why Naapi's garden was created. A lot of it was citizen science, and through that was partnering up with other groups like with Oldman Watershed, and that's where a lot of this knowledge really started to really affect me, because the work that the OWC does throughout the watershed, we needed to do that type of work here. A lot of that focus was to create these partnerships, because a lot of this we can't do it alone. The reserve is basically almost like a separate country. The main thing about that is not only to be able to grow these plants, but also to be able to start changing our diet on the reserve, because we have such high rates of diabetes, heart disease, respiratory illnesses, arthritis. Types of foods that we ate back then really helped your body. This particular flower here, this is arrowleaf balsam root. The root of this plant, if you have arthritis, it stops you from having inflammation. It's an expectorant, so if you have congestion that just won't go away, root medicine out of the root will clear it up. And that's just two things about it. And this is called double root, or nistikapa. We refer to as a wild carrot. It's a really good form of energy, and this could replace like our sugar, even our energy drinks like Red Bull. When you use them in one form or another, they clear out your kidneys and your liver. Basically, all of them constantly work on your system. In the old times, our ancestors, their bodies were clean. So, and that's why they were able to live up to like over 100 years old. It's what we're looking at right now, because there's a lot of our community, they're dying at such a young age. And a lot of it's really to like our poor health. And this is something that can really help. Bringing our traditional foods back is way better than building a Walmart on the reserve or a Tim Hortons. This is a way better investment than that. That's the work that we're doing. Myself with the Kainai Ecosystem Protection Association, and with the community. This is all new. For being an agricultural people, we were never, but now we are. So now we join the Cherokee, the Lakota, the Southwest tribes, because all of them have a plant or a seed that's known, that they're known for. Yeah. So what can you say? But when we do bring our varieties to the table, we'll actually bring over 40 different varieties. So, and that's the whole thing. It's about our food security, regaining our food sovereignty, bring our people back to health, because there's really no other way.
And bringing the land back to health at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time too, when I harvest, I usually harvest my plants, the ones I'm going to consume, when they go to seed. So I do a lot of seed collecting. A lot of these particular plants, I've collected their seeds, and they've been put out around here now. Some of them are in like some of the schools in Lethbridge, R.I. Baker and Colby. It's really spreading these seeds. A lot of the interest for this are like young people. They're really interested in having like traditional gardens.
Well, especially with the week like we've been having without as much water as we would like.
Yeah.
It starts to become even more pertinent to have plants that can survive and thrive in this type of climate.
Yeah, and this is, I have some sort of lawn here, but it's not mold because you can see Ninne Gaksami or wild sage. I like to keep those there because all of this used to be clay. But when I first moved here, it got to be really quiet because I had a huge lawn, so I'd mow really far around my house, and it got too quiet. And then I realized in 2016 at one of the Oldman Watershed, I think it was one of the AGMs, and I began to realize what has to be done. You know, what kind of where do I fit in? Like I didn't want to duplicate anybody else's work, but I realized that our health is something really important. We're involved in about 4 different projects. One of them is with Lethbridge College. We're still in talks. We want to have us guys help them and look for a plant that can create a new antibiotic.
Very cool.
Yeah, and with the University of Lethbridge, we're also doing research on the wild turnip plant, how to start introducing that and using the health properties of it for our diets. At some point, what you see here is what we would like to see in our community's gardens. This may seem like weeds to a lot of people, but you won't believe what this can do for you. Imagine having these in your lawn, because it'll give you a benefit in their purpose, other than just watering a lawn. You know, they belong there anyway. So,
And food for the Amy as well.
Yeah.
How has this journey that you've been on changed your diet?
It's really changed my health, for the better. A lot of our plants have these like healing properties. So in the Blackfoot world, we view our food as medicine. Once you're able to make that available to the community, there's a lot of healing that can happen. With every connection that we make, it's always made with food. So and this is what like the connections I've been making with this work, it's always about food. Even like right now, we're having a meal here together, and it's also goes back to a lot of our history where like our food it's important because everything, all of these plants, and they're all here before us. It doesn't take much to lose a lot of these plants.
Yeah, because it's fundamentally different than kind of the traditional Western thinking of food as just basic sustenance, like to keep your body moving, as opposed to medicine. I think that's a wise way, I guess, to look at it.
Well, even with like our traditional foods, like our plants, a lot of them have uses. Like they fulfill a lot of our different hygiene needs. Like wild licorice root, the root is used to clean your teeth. So in the old days, that's what our ancestors would use, brush their teeth. So their breath smelled like licorice.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so imagine all of this, smelling like your food.
Yeah.
Like, well, not like, but like wild, wild plants. Yeah.
What's your favorite plants to eat?
My favorite plant is double root. It's like a carrot. Well, we call it wild carrot, but the English name is Gardner's Yampa. And so this is my favorite, and it's ready to be harvested usually in late July. And I like this in combination with wild onions. So this is a wild onion. So you can eat these either dry or fresh. So this is a lot of like what my diet would consist of.
So how do you eat the wild carrot?
You could steam this, or put it in water. It'll go back to. You'll rehydrate, or you could just grind it. You could use it into like with soups. Yeah, there's a lot of different. You can turn it into a powder, and you can just use that for energy later. Mix it into your food. You could it's really good for horses as well. Same with the onion too. Yeah, so like if these grow next to each other, so having a handful of these is pretty well a meal.
Wow.
So usually when I'm out, when I get hungry, I look for these. Yeah, and when I'm out harvesting, I have them on me too. So if I need energy, and if I'm thirsty, I carry the licorice root stick, quenches your thirst. So there's no need to die of thirst or starve to death once you know your environment to look for.
So you can survive on the natural grassland.
Yeah, even the sweetgrass in that box, you can eat it. It's an energy food.
Yeah. Do the Amy like eating the same foods, or do they have other preferences?
I'm just starting to learn about a lot of the different types of grasses. So a lot of it is like our native grasses, wild fescue.
Right.
So this year we'll be concentrating a little bit more on them, like what they need. Also, where they're also going to be roaming, we're going to plant to see the effects of their the work that they do. They're bioengineers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Leroy Lilleberg calls them. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so if I was going to go survive in the wilderness, I would be looking for berries or something that's more obvious than sitting right there, but I wouldn't have thought to, like, for roots at all. Like, that's brilliant.
Yeah, you can find those same plants up in the mountain parks too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you'll find them. Yeah.
If a bear didn't kill me, then it would be hunger, one way or the other. But maybe it'll just be bears now.
The other thing too is imi. I like imi. So when you mix it with plants, it's especially pemmican.
Well, it's amazing work that you're doing, and we thank you for sharing it with us.
Oh, thank you very much in bringing the food. It's awesome.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
We're saying one day, I know you want to have